Hello and welcome to NSU SportsBeat, the show that everybody watches, and we know because we can see you right now. Hey, I'm Michael Laderman, your wacky and wild sports information director, and with me, as always, the good Dr. Pat Feely. And Dr. Pat, how you doing today?
Fine, Mike. How about you?
I am fantastic, and that's because we have a fantastic show coming up. We have a stellar show coming up. We're going to be talking about all the great busy things that we have happening at Nova Southeastern University, and that is...
Conference tournaments.
We're hosting a few of them, aren't we?
Volleyball, women's soccer, men's soccer. Then we could host some regional games.
We're a little bit busy.
We will be.
Not as busy as the teams, though. This is their crunch time of the year, and that's what I want to get to on this episode. It's sort of a playoff-type preview show. And if you're going to start out with the playoffs, let's start out with the hottest team right now at Nova Southeastern, and that is the women's volleyball team. This is a team in mid-October that's riding a 12-match winning streak. They went into tough games against Tampa. They lost to St. Thomas. This is really a streak that could be more than 12, but they're playing some good volleyball right now.
Great volleyball. They came out of 2 tournaments, undefeated in both tournaments, finished 5th in one and 3rd in another. We still haven't figured that out.
Well, you get the small trophy when you do that, but nonetheless, they're playing very good. Who's making the plays for them? We're talking about Mertens and Waddell and everybody.
Michelle Mertens right now, she's playing fantastic. Great hitting percentage, about 4 kills a game. That's a game, so you add that up, and she's looking like 16 for
12,
a match.
15, 16 a match, absolutely.
Heather J. doing a great job setting the ball. Katie Banks playing great defense. Then you throw in Sherri Waddell, Michelle Trantham, real solid. So the teams come together at the right time.
They started slow maybe a little bit. Starting out the year about 3-5, 3-6 record. Started to pick it up though, didn't they?
Yeah, they have since, but that start can be attributed to a couple things. Tough competition, as you mentioned before, and a new coach, new style maybe, but they're coming around right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pat, this is a team that is hungry, this is a team that knows exactly where they want to go, and this is a team that is on fire.
We've been playing really well. We went up to Georgia a couple weeks ago, and we had a really good game against regional defender Huntington.
Michelle Mertens is playing really consistent. Heather J. Sherri Waddell is coming around really well. We're getting a lot out of all of our players.
Michelle Mertens was phenomenal. She hit line, did a lot of good things for us. Sherri was really strong in the middle for us. I had a really good game. We all had a really high percentage of hits. Heather, fantastic player all over the ball.
We've been gearing the whole season to trying to peak at the right time. I mean, many times you can peak before or in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and then just go downhill. So I think we've slowly been climbing upwards and ready for the conference tournament and regional tournament.
The team that goes into conference on a hot streak and with high momentum behind them definitely is going to come out conference. And that's very important if we want to make it to regionals.
I think we'll have a great chance. I mean, it's going to be between us, St. Thomas, and Embry-Riddle, so we can't overlook any of those teams. But I think we're ready.
All right, so here's the deal with volleyball. Here's a team that's ranked number 2 in the Southeast region. But, Pat, that may not mean anything come conference tournament time, correct?
No. If you don't come out of the conference tournament as the champion, there's a good chance you aren't going to get the at-large bid.
Yeah, and that's because of the strength of this conference. I mean, let's face it. You look at our conference against the other conferences in the Southeast region. Right now in mid-October, the Southeast region, we're 13-0 against the rest of them. So it could be very weak. You know the top teams are in the Florida Sun Conference.
And that top team, St. Thomas, right now.
Well, St. Thomas, well, you mentioned before, that's been our big nemesis. You look at last year. Before last year, Nova had never lost to St. Thomas. And then last year, St. Thomas takes Nova 3 times, twice in the regular season, and then in that championship match. And talk about that championship match, too.
The 2.5-hour match, could have gone either way, back and forth, but St. Thomas pulled it out at the end.
Had it gone the way of the Knights, it might be different, but since it went St. Thomas's way, does that sort of affect the Knights emotionally, and especially after you look at what happened the first game this year in the regular season for them?
Yeah, exactly. The Knights' big lead in that first game this year. First couple games, we were up, and St. Thomas came back and beat us.
How does that weigh on a team, Pat?
Well, I think that with any winning streak, you've got the team that has the edge. They're always confident, and they know going in we can beat this team. But then you've got the other team that's had a tough time against St. Thomas, in this case. You might think, oh, not them again, and what could happen this time, and are we ever going to beat them?
All right, well, Nova Southeastern has some big challenges ahead of them as they go into the postseason play, and not just physically, but emotionally, as we said. And the challenges, well, the questions that you got to ask yourselves with Nova Southeastern: 1, how much do they want to change history? And 2, how bad do they want to get to St. Thomas?
Last year was extremely frustrating because every time we played St. Thomas, it seemed to win 5 games. We lost in 2 every single time. It was very frustrating. I think that all of us felt that we didn't keep pushing the last 2 points. We kept getting stuck on 14, couldn't get to 15. It was really, really frustrating, but we're looking for a change in that.
In the finals, we played against St. Thomas, and it was a grueling match of 5 games. I mean, just tiresome, and we came out losing. And this year we're just really coming out to be on top and win.
Playing St. Thomas was really frustrating for us in the conference match, and losing to them was really frustrating. And I think that because of that loss, we never rebounded and came back off when we played in regionals, and then again we lost there.
This year, that's a good thing to focus on. I definitely want to change where St. Thomas stands as far as first place in the conference, first place in the region. I would definitely want it to be us for a change, make our mark at conference. We've been climbing a ladder all through conference play, and I think the conference tournament's where we're going to come on top.
Definitely want to change history this year. I mean, there is a lot of competitive teams. I mean, it's just not us and St. Thomas this year. It's Embry-Riddle, it's, you know, everyone. So, I mean, we definitely want to be on top this year and take it all.
I'm very much excited about this season. I think that we need to come back and rebound off of last season and prove our point that this year we can do it. And I think we have the team and the talent. It's just going to be all of us coming together and not doing our own thing necessarily, as just staying together as a team and playing, because I think we can definitely take it.
Losing last year was just I can't find the word.
Speaking of teams that want to rewrite the history book, so to speak, the NSU women's soccer team. Pat, here's a team that makes it to the championship last year. They fall short. They want to get back there again and win it this year.
And against St. Thomas. Last year we lost to St. Thomas in the conference final. This year there's a good chance we're going to meet them again. I mean, they're the best team in the conference right now, but as we improve game by game, we should be okay going into the conference.
And we've already played them this year, and we've already lost to them. It's sort of seeing a pattern developing here on this. But, you know, as you look back on last year and things like that, we spoke of this before, Pat, this is a team that's so young, they may not even remember the history. They don't remember what happened last year, correct?
They didn't experience it firsthand, but they're aware of it, and they're aware of the importance and aware of what it takes to beat St. Thomas. So as they grow, they should be able to beat them.
Well, you know, here's the thing that everybody has to remember about this team, though, and that is the simple fact that, yes, they are young, and we spoke about it last year. Do the Knights, though, think that it's going to affect them? They don't seem to think so.
I don't think it's going to make a difference with this team. The girls are exceptional. The new players that came in are exceptional. They're very mature as players, much more mature probably than your usual freshmen. I don't think it's going to affect them.
Starting as a new team, I would say it took us a long time to click together, but now that we're finally starting to understand our ways of play, that we're starting to click, and it's becoming a lot easier to work together as a team.
I don't think it's really going to hurt us. I think we're a strong team, and we've been working hard, and we're ready for it.
Although we have 9 freshmen coming in this year, we have a lot of experienced players, and they're good. We work together really good, and I think we're just going to benefit from this year's experience and maybe take it on to next year.
Maybe the first game will, you know, for a couple of minutes, like we were at the beginning of our season, we were, you know, clicking together. But I think at the end and in the middle even, you know, it will bring us together, and hopefully, you know, we have set our priorities straight, and our priorities are win, win, win. So there we go.
A concern for the women's soccer team, though, Pat? Really no go-to person.
Right now there's not a clear-cut goal scorer. You got Jessica Goody with about 3 goals. Jenkins coming on now. She's been hurt most of the year, banged up. Her minutes are increasing game by game. We might have thought Stacy-Ann Brown was going to do it coming off a 2-goal performance, but knee injury, she could be done for the rest of the year.
Nobody's really standing out. Nobody's really taking the take charge type of attitude that they need to.
No, they aren't, but yet the team is still improving. They're nearer and nearer that 500 mark.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit, because they have been going up. They were, you know, a couple of games below 500. Now look where they're at, especially after the win past Eckerd.
Game by game, they're getting better, and you can see that.
Well, I'll tell you, there's 2 questions, though, that have to be answered as they head into the postseason. Number 1, who is going to be that go-to person? And number 2, just what are their expectations?
Well, I think the key has been Jennifer Jenkins being able to step up and coming back into the play where we needed her. We needed her to play. We've gotten her back the last couple of games. She's created some really nice opportunities for us. Melissa Simmons has stepped up unbelievable. She's a creator. She sees the game. She knows the game.
Right now we don't have a go-to player on the team, but definitely the starters and non-starters are stepping up and improving their game. And we have people like Stacy, who has a lot of experience, but not that much playing time this year. In the last game, she stepped up and scored our winning goals and tied it for us, and then we got the win. So it was very important.
Very important that we have a go-to person, because it psychs us all up, and we all get excited and we all play better.
I think every team needs a go-to player, and I think it's going to be the captains, the one that are going to step up. Once we do that, I think the whole team will follow through with us, and they'll do the same.
I don't believe in just one person. I believe it's a team effort, and it's everybody on the team needs to put 110% and do a team effort. It's not one individual person. So I'm glad we don't have that go-to person.
It's kind of scary when a team starts off on top right away. There's no real sign for improvement right there. We've shown that we're starting to peak at this point and starting to continue to grow. And I think as we go into our postseason, to continue that, and we can do that, put things together, we'll be able to dominate through our conference tournament.
Through the season, we've picked up our game a lot, and we've started to, last 4 games, I believe we've won, so we're kind of on a roll now, and I want to keep the momentum going, and hopefully it'll carry us right into conference, and we'll go in strong.
Score lots of goals and just get psyched. We want to win.
I think going into the conference tournament, we can come out successful. I believe that we can win the tournament, probably go on to regionals, and maybe even conquer nationals.
My expectations for the upcoming Sun Conference tournament is win-win-win. We want to win. We want to bring Nova, the trophy we lost, unfortunately, last year. And, we have a pretty young team, a very confident team, and together we will win, and we'll bring it home.
Hey, speaking of soccer, we'll switch over to the men's side of things right after this on NSU Sports Beat.
It's in the scene, 'cause it's written in the book. Ain't no me, 'cause I'm taking over the look. I'm script, like a log in the woods. I'm a gift that you get and you get.
Lung disease and other breathing problems are the leading cause of death in infants. But thanks to the American Lung Association's efforts in research and education, more kids are able to grow up to become what they were always meant to be, a real handful. Help us fight lung disease and air pollution. Call 1-800-LUNG-USA, because when you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
Someone out there needs help, and you've decided to save them. Every year, thousands of people die waiting for organ and tissue transplants. To be a donor, even if you've signed something, you must tell your family now so they can carry out your decision later. Otherwise, it's like throwing a 12-foot rope to someone who's 15 feet away. Share your life. Share your decision.
Hey, welcome back to round 2 of NSU Sports Beat. Michael Laderman still here with the good Dr. Pat Feely. Dr. Pat, let's talk now men's soccer. Here's a team that also has the revenge factor in mind, just like volleyball and just like women's soccer, but not quite just like them.
Not against St. Thomas.
That's right.
Last year, they lost to Flagler in the final of the conference tournament in overtime, a tournament we thought we should have won, but didn't happen that way. This year going in, probably we will be the team to beat in the conference tournament. Right now, 1 loss in the conference to St. Thomas. How about that? But that was by far the worst game we played this year. So if you throw that one out, this a great team. We expect big things.
This team, the Knights, they match up well against anybody in this conference, don't they?
Yeah, in the conference as well as anybody in NAIA. Probably Division II, we've proven that. So this is a great team.
Well, one thing to remember, Pat, this is a nationally ranked squad, which has been nationally ranked for the most part of the year. They are a confident group of soccer players, and they do feel that they can match up with anybody in the Florida Sun Conference.
I think we're definitely the best team out there. We have better technical ability, superior skills, speed. Basically, it's all up to us, and the ball is in our court. We do whatever we want.
The teams in our conference, we're all pretty much at the same level. There's really not going to be any blowouts or anything. I think it's just going to be a matter of which team wants it more.
Matchup-wise, against the rest of the conference, we're pretty confident. We played against most of the teams. We played against Flagler earlier this year. Although we beat them 3-2, I think we pretty much controlled the pace of the game. It could be tough, but I think being at home and the talent we have on the team, we're pretty confident we'll fare pretty well.
For the Sun Conference tournament, I think if everything comes out the way it's supposed to be, we'll match up very well with all the teams. With St. Thomas, we play a very similar style. We have very similar kids, so they'll look for a very entertaining game that can really go any way. With the Flaglers, we're looking at a more physical game, with them playing more of a direct style of play, which we have adapted well to. We've played it, just about every team we've played has been in a direct style team. We've done a great job against them. Our biggest obstacle right now is just getting motivated for those conference games.
Hey, here's a big thing, though, about this men's soccer team, and that is, Pat, they've been there before. They got some real good playoff experience.
Exactly. A lot of the guys on this team were on the team 2 years ago that won the conference tournament, then lost to life in the regional. But Gus Bravo, Warren Bloise, Mike Rivera, Jason Morris, Cliff Cameron, those guys have been in the big game.
They've been in that game. They were also in the big game last year when they lose to Flagler. But, though, a lot of those names that you mentioned, here comes the injury bug. We lost a bunch of those guys this year to injuries.
And now they're coming back. I mean, Gus Bravo, hamstring injury, missed a lot of games. Warren Bloise, ankle injury. He's been out for most of the season. He's just coming back now, and he's good. But then you lose Cristian Cubillas, top players on the team, to a knee injury. He's going to have surgery. He's going to be done for the year.
You know, though, Pat, they're really not too concerned about it, though. I mean, here's a team that's been there before. They have the experience, and they think they know what it takes to get through this.
Well, definitely experience is going to help any team. However, I think that we can't ignore the contributions of the freshmen. I mean, we have an excellent group of freshmen out here, and new transfer students as well, like Cristian Cubillas and Lenny Turno, and players as well as last year like Paul Quintana, who are adding a whole new dimension to the team.
Oh, having a lot of experience on the team really helps out a lot when it comes to conference time. I mean, we've already been there. We know what it's like. We know how important it is. I mean, no matter how far you want to go, it all starts at the conference.
Experience, definitely, it's a big plus for us. We know what it takes to win a conference championship, like we did 2 years ago. We have a lot of players who did experience going through that and know how hard it is, but at the same time how rewarding it could be if you put forth the effort.
Well, experience is a big key in soccer. The older you get, the more mature you are as a player, and that helps out during the season. Especially towards conference time, maturity takes over. It's not necessarily how hard you work, is what you know to do with the ball.
You look at our team, the playoff experience we have is very vital for us. I mean, we've got some kids that have been there when they won it, and they were there when we lost in the conference championship last year. So that's very helpful for us to help push along the kids that are new to the program, like the transfers and the freshmen. So that's going to be really important for us, for those experienced guys, to let them know the ups and the downs of it.
Obviously, the loss of Cristian Cubillas is something really hard to deal with, especially since he's been playing such good ball in the past 2 months. He's a good quality player, excellent speed, incredible shot, calm under pressure. Yeah, we're going to miss him a lot.
Actually, we're getting used to playing with injuries now, so we should do well even though we have those injuries.
It's kind of hard to deal with sometimes because it hurts the continuity of the team. We've had, I can't recall the last time we started the same lineup for 2-3 games in a row. It's always a different player filling in for somebody else.
If we make it there with injuries, we'll have to deal with them.
I think now it's going to be more of a team effort where everyone's going to pull together and everyone's going to pull extra weight, not only their own weight, but someone else's, and just come together, and it's just going to be fun to see.
Well, speaking of the men's soccer injury bug, here's somebody that seemed to catch that flu, unfortunately, Cristian Cubillas, and you tore, Chris, your ACL and your right knee, and this is an injury that's sending your college career out the door pretty much. Tell us what happened and how it happened and where you're going to go from now.
It was the week before last. It was we were playing against Auburn Montgomery in Georgia, and it was on a breakaway with 10 minutes left. 3 guys around me. I had all my weight on my right leg, and I didn't hear anything snap or pop, but it just like one kick, and then I just couldn't get back up.
This was just a normal slide tackle. This was nothing illegal or anything. This is just a guy coming in trying to make a play on you, correct?
Yes, that's all it was. And you know, the trainer had to come out and help me. And then Coach Figueroa, he's like, you know, you'll be back in 5 minutes, right? I'd be like, yeah, Coach, just some ice, I'll be good. You know, to finish the game, but it wasn't.
All right, you couldn't get back out there. You come back to Nova Southeastern, you get checked out. Still really don't know what the injury is. You're able to do, though, so many things. You were able to run. You were able to sprint, walk. You had no pain, essentially, correct?
Right. It was, the trainers told me, you know, might have just hyperextended it. You might have just sprained it. And from there on, they just told me that, you know, I saw the doctor on Tuesday night, and he told me, he's like, you tore your ACL. And I was like, so I'll be back in 3 weeks? He's like, no, that's the end of your season. And being that I'm a senior, you know, I just, like, the eyes just started to get watery because you don't want to end your college career like that.
So what did you think it was?
I thought, I mean, it wasn't swollen, you know, I thought, you know, it's just like, oh, I might have just sprained it. But yeah, I could run, I could sprint at practice, I felt fine.
All right, well, the college career, that's over now, unfortunately. But there's good news, possibly in the future you could be going professional, or at least attempting to go professional.
Like what I have planned is I'll finish school next fall, and from then on I want to maybe either go back to Peru, play pro where my dad played, or you know, stay MLS if I get lucky, or go to Europe, whatever works out.
You mentioned your dad. Are you trying to follow in your dad's footsteps? I mean, after all, here he is, the great Teofilo Nene Cubillas, who they called the great Peruvian, and he played for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers from 1979 to 83. Some big footsteps there.
Definitely. I mean, just seeing a lot of the tapes when I was young, because it was when his first World Cup was 70. So it's just like watching a lot of the stuff is just like, that's definitely something I want to be in. You know, the crowd, you know, like 100,000 people watching you, like your whole country behind you. That's something I'd love to do.
Since when you were a kid, did you always want to follow in those footsteps?
Back in the day,
maybe even be him.
Definitely. I remembered always just going to the Fort Lauderdale Striker games, you know, and going underneath the bleachers at halftime, playing with 30 other kids, you know. You don't know anybody, but you're just like, hey, kid, pass the ball, you know. But it's just something that, and then I also remember, you know, memories from Lockhart, the big chocolate chip cookies.
The big cookies at Lockhart, yeah, I definitely remember those too. Except for the pictures. I don't remember pictures that you're telling me about. Those were great days. I mean, do you want to live those kind of days? Do you want to maybe, hey, we got the Fusion coming in here, maybe somehow get onto the Fusion and be a member of the Major League Soccer team down here in Fort Lauderdale?
I would definitely love to. I mean, like I see is right now, I have to stay positive. Everything happens for a reason. So the thing is, this will make me that much stronger. It's just one step back, but it's still what I want to do, which I'd love to play at Lockhart where my father played.
One thing though, don't people compare you continuously to your father?
Always, even on the state teams, growing up, people are just like, oh, you'll make the team. Look who your dad is. And I was just like, that was a challenge to me, and I love that challenge because I wanted to prove to people that, no, I'm not just like any other. I want to stand out, and I want to show people, oh, we have to mark him. He's gonna, he's gonna do some damage.
How have you handled that sort of pressure throughout the years?
So far, it's been good. I mean, all through, like when I was younger, everything was good. And then also in high school, I was lucky enough to get Player of the Year. And then now in college, I mean, like I did a little moving around, but now I'm at a place where I'm happy. Just sad that it had to end this way.
Well, hopefully you will be able to get to that Major League Soccer level. And yes, I mean, it is sad that you're not playing for Nova Southeastern anymore. But still, you'll be able to keep stats with the Sports Information Office.
I'm there,
so
definitely.
You're still here at Nova Southeastern. Cristian Cubillas, thanks. Wish you all the luck, too. That was Cristian Cubillas of the NSU soccer team who tore his ACL and is out for the season. Hey, we're going to take a break right now. And when we come back, we're going to talk men's basketball right after this on NSU SportsBeat.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
It takes so little to save our rivers and oceans for future generations. If we use less toxic household cleaners, we protect a little. Fewer lawn care chemicals, a little more. And recycling used motor oil gains us so much. In fact, there are many things we can do in our everyday lives that can help stop water pollution forever. Clean water, if we all do a little, we can do a lot. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Defense Council and the Ad Councils of the U.S. and Japan.
Hey, welcome back to round 3 of NSU SportsBeat. Michael Laderman still here with the good Dr. Pat Feely. Dr. Pat, let's get into the men's basketball side of things because, dang it, the season's starting up and they're going to get rocking and rolling, and we expect some good things out of this team, don't we?
We do indeed. Look at the returning players. You've got Robert Robinson and Sherard Hernandez, both first-team All-Conference last year. Jeff Payanis, who as a freshman was in the top 25 in the NAIA in assists. Bryan Taylor coming back off a solid season last year. We get Charlie Mason back. He had big things out of him last year as a freshman, first part of the season. Didn't play the second half. So big things to be expected from this team.
And this is Tony McAndrews' third year at the helm of the Knights. First year, they have the rebuilding process. His second year, which was last year, they go, 3 games under 500, make it to the semifinal game of the Florida Sun Conference Championship Tournament, only falling 6 or 7 points away from the championship game. Does that help us make the expectations for this team higher?
It does indeed, and look at some of the wins that we had last year. Big wins at home against Embry-Riddle and St. Thomas, who both advanced to the national tournament. So this team has proven that they can compete with anyone in the Florida Sun Conference.
Well, this is a hungry group of guys because they've been there before. They've been there in the past, and now they're looking ahead. They do have high expectations, and they think they should be flying high in the conference.
Well, our expectations this year are very high, I think. We have a lot of people coming back. We only graduated Rayford Ellison. Our frontliners are back. We have some people that were strong last year that we're going to really use a lot this year. And I think we're going to do pretty well this year. We have a lot of good expectations.
I think we have high expectations for the team. We have a lot of returning starters. We only lost 1 player. We could have easily won the conference tournament last year. So I think we have pretty high expectations, especially in conference play.
I feel, about the same thing. I mean, we're going to work hard. We got, like you said, we only lost 1 player. It was Ray. We miss him. But, we got 2 new freshmen that just came in, Troy and Andy, and they're going to be good for us. And we're looking for the same thing, basically. Just work hard, hopefully not have some academic ineligibilities, and just work hard and get back to where we were last year.
We plan to take our conference, first of all. And the conference that we have, most of the teams this year are kind of evened out as far as their players, so it's like wide open. But we believe that we have the manpower, and I have confidence in my point guard, which is Jeff Payanis. So he'll get the ball to whoever needs to get it, and we'll get the job done.
Well, Mike, after making progress the last couple of years, we've again find ourselves with a young team, 1 senior,
as we did last year. So we've got a young team that's been together now for, this is the second year. For the most part, all these kids have been together, and we've got a lot of experience. We've got great chemistry, great bunch of kids. And I see our big goal this year is trying to get to a situation where we don't beat ourselves. We take care of the ball and take good shots, and people go to their strengths offensively.
Hey, that was your Nova Southeastern University Sports Monthly Calendar, and this was your NSU SportsBeat TV show. For Dina, welcome aboard, Steve, and even Victor, who's not even here, and the rest of the NSU SportsBeat gang, I'm Mike Laderman.